Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the premium German tier 8 lesser spotted tank destroyer, the Panzerknacker. Now this tank is a Jagdpanther with the 88mm gun, but it's tier 8. And it's got a 3-shot autoloader. And I never really looked at it because it was like, well, its pen was a little bit disappointing. It was slow going backwards. Its armor was pointless. It had a quick reload, but it just struggled to use it. And then they went and buffed it, and I thought, you know what, okay, I won't disregard the tank without playing it now. I'll go give it a go, especially with a bit of nicer pen. So, what did they actually buff on the Panzerknacker Auto? Well, on the Panzerknacker, they ended up buffing the reverse speed from 12 to 18, which means you go backwards a lot quicker and get back round corners nicer, it's still alright. The armour from 80 to 105, and the penetration from 212 to 234, and 237 to 294. So basically the same as what a Lerva gets. That is a great list of buffs, right? The penetration is the biggest one, okay? The penetration is the biggest one. It just means that you can deal with so many more tanks now, because before it was like you were bottom tier, you basically struggled to do anything because you couldn't really pen anything. I mean, you came against the tier 10s, you loaded the premium at 237 or whatever it was, and you still struggled to pen a lot of them. Now you'll at least be able to pen them with your, even with your standard rounds, and if you struggle, you can just load the premium and you will be okay to be able to. Well, you just basically do better when you're bottom tier with what it is. It's a tank destroyer. It's supposed to be able to attack tanks and heavier armoured tanks, and it just unfortunately couldn't. The armour buff is negligible, really. It's not going to help it. I mean, especially when you drive in front of E4s, which, if we just sit here, he is going to blap us. There we go. Thank you, E4, for proving my point. The armour buff is insignificant. I mean, that's an E4. That's a pointless observation because that tank's ridiculous, right? But you know, the armour is not going to bounce anything reliably, right? You're not going to do it. What you've got to do is take advantage of unsuspecting enemies. This tank has incredible rate of fire. Like, it spits out the rounds. I mean, you fire that whole clip and then you reload it in 11.5 seconds. It's nuts. And the fact that the intro clip is 2 seconds as well means you really do push out the damage so fast. And I've actually found it pretty fun to play. It's one that I discounted quite quickly, but yeah, you know what? I've been enjoying it a fair bit. So what kind of crew do I run on this Panzerknacker? Well, on the Panzerknacker, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Trap Mechanic, Clutch Braking, Smooth Ride, and Camouflage. Now, I run Camouflage because it is a TD, so I want to help the stealth a little bit, even if the camo isn't too great. And then the driving perks, essentially, because I want to make it so it uses that great mobility that it does have. Because you see we're going up at 50. I want to make it so that it can use that mobility. Oh, that shot on the 3090 was great. Sorry. Yeah, so I want to make it so that I can use the mobility of the tank really easily. And obviously the clutch braking really helps it when you start to get YOLO'd, and, you know, tanks like the ELC, even 90 or the 3090, or light tanks generally, when they YOLO you, you can just keep up with them, because it does have good track traverse, but it always helps to have better track traverse. And obviously steady aim, because you want to make it more accurate generally. Now this first game, this was actually the first game I played in the tank. We're bottom tier, and you can see I mucked up with my ammo loadout. I hadn't equipped any ammo to it, so we just had the standard rounds, pretty much. And you can see, you know, with the 230 odd pen that we have, we've dealt with pretty much everything we're going to face, which is quite nice, until we bounce on the side of an FV215B. But you see what I mean? Like, the 230 pen means that we can now deal so much more effectively with the tanks that we've been facing than we could last time. Like, when we were facing the E4 earlier on, we were penning him really easily in the lower plate. With the 200 odd pen that we had on the standard round previous, we might have struggled. It just is what it is. So in terms of equipment that I run on this tank, I run the optics, vents, and a camouflage net, because you can't run a rammer. The aim time is good enough. You can't run vert stabs, so making everything better with the vents, and then having the better view range with the coated optics as well, and then having the camouflage to make your camo as good as possible. It's everything you want. This game, we have managed to get 4.9k damage, 1100 assistance, and unfortunately we couldn't go get the last kill on the artillery because well, artillery does what artillery does best, and that is shot us over the ridgeline and finishes off. But as I say, we finished the game with 3 kills, the 4.9k, that's nearly 5k damage, 1200 assistance, ace tanker, 2.3k base XP in a tier 10 game where we did own 5-star rounds because that's all we had. And it showed that this tank can be really effective. We did play fairly brawly in that game, but the thing is, except for that first bit when we were facing the E4, we didn't sit out in front of tanks that were truly staring at us. Only at the end when we went against the 121B, where there was nothing else that could shoot us except for the artillery, did we go face to face with someone that was clearly just looking at us and wanted to shoot us, right? This tank is definitely something that's more likely to catch people off guard, and you want to, you know, try and get into a position where you can flank, get shots, and then pull up and then run away, because you've got the ability to do it, especially with the new reverse speed. You can drop a clip, pull back behind a rock, and then disengage and go somewhere else. And because of the reload and how rapid it is, you can get into a separate position, another position, surprise them, pop 3 shots in before they know it, and you're gone. Because you're doing 720 damage within 4 seconds of firing the first shot, because, you know, you fire that first shot and then it's 4 seconds and then you've dropped the whole clip. And it's really nice for that. So we're on the second game, and we're on mines. Well, mines, there is only one way to win mines, and that is win the hill. So we have been aggressive. We managed to get all 3 shots into that poor Leo as we came up, and now we're in a position to get some shots into this Tiger too. And I'm just trying to find the top of his turret. I can't quite find it. I'm still holding on to this shot, just waiting for him to do anything. And unfortunately, he doesn't quite give us a shot. So I just popped the reload. But the thing is, I'm not too fussed about holding my shells for too long, because just look how quickly we've managed to reload. So we managed to get one into the tracks of that Tiger 2. Unfortunately, the Dreadnought just managed to block there. He was pulling back to stay safe from the Tiger 2. There's nothing he could do about that. But we managed to get the final 2 shells in to shut that dude down. But now they're capping. They've got 3 people in the cap. We have to get there to help it. And from this position, because we do have decent gun depression as well, I think it's 8 degrees or something along those lines, we can use this ridgeline really effectively. And I'm just trying to work it so we can get some shots into this King Tiger. And we're in a perfect place to do that. So I'll drop the whole clip in, pull back behind the ridgeline, and now we're safe. But again, we're just about to reload. We've just dumped the clip, and it's like, well, I'm reloaded. Hello, King Tiger, I'm back. We go for the drive wheel at the back to try and track him in place so I can get the full clip in, and we managed to do that. He obviously shot us and snapped the shot in to put, like, what, nearly 300 damage in. Let's say, even on this ridgeline using the full gun depression, we don't have any armor, so you don't expect to bounce. Fortunately enough, we can just see the lower plate of that guy, which is pretty nice. I popped the reload, even though I've only fired 1, because again, like I say, the reload is pretty damn tasty, and we are reloading in, you know, pretty quick fashion. And I'd risk it for a biscuit to come down here. We managed to bounce down. I know I'm going to take a hit, but I know that in this clip, I can finish this T-28 HTC, which is a god-awful tank. And you've just seen why it's god-awful, because that weakness in his little cupolas is the massive downfall of that thing. So now I'm going to charge in to go get the T-29. There is the Vanguard as well. And we're just going to snap the shot in, finish off the Vanguard, and now try and get up behind this T-29. He's clearly focusing on other people. The Dreadnought shoots him, so it's like, well, I'm not going to take a hit from this guy. We get shot in the butt from their spawn, because there's still stuff there. We pull around the corner, get a shot in. I'm trying to get a shot into his drive wheel, but unfortunately we don't end up tracking him. But we managed to pop the rest of our shells in. I'm thinking, please finish him off. And he finally does get finished off. We're now reloading again. Let's say we're up to 4.5k damage, which is great. And we're just going to try and put ourselves in another position to get more shots. Now, I'm going to be a little bit too aggressive here, because I'd sort of discount the fact that there's tanks back there. The IKV gets spotted. And it's like, right, I can get some shots in there. I think that's what shot me earlier on. But realistically, look what's left. There's still a lot of tanks left. So this little push here is not the best. We managed to get the shot into the T-28 HTC, again, showing the terrible armor that tank has. And then there's a Challenger back there. The Challenger starts farming us up, puts us onto 180 hit points, which is a real shame. But now we're unspotted. It's like, well, okay, I'm unspotted. I can just dump this shell into you and finish you off. We're up to 5.4k damage. There's still 5 tanks left, 2 heavy tanks left, a light tank, and a tank destroyer. Now, there's this IS-3 over here. We know where the other heavy tank is spotted right now. I'm like, right, okay, I'm going to get myself into position to shoot this IS-3. And because of my low health, I'm thinking, you know what, I'm not going to take the risk. So I press A, get these premium rounds in so I can guaranteed go through this IS-3, finish him off. Now this is where I make a mistake, because I'm going in on the TLC 90, right? And even though I'd made the decision that I needed to load the premium rounds because I didn't want to risk dying to that IS-3, I actually think I've got a little bit more hit points than I actually have. And the Vanguard actually finishes me off, or the ELC 90. So I actually pushed that guy when I really shouldn't have, but it's all good. My team managed to finish the game off, and we finished with 7 kills, 5.8k damage, the 2.1, nearly 2.2k base XP. A really, really nice game for the Panzerknacker. It's just a shame that I couldn't push that and make that better because I made a stupid mistake by going in for the Vanguard, thinking I actually had more HP than I did. I thought, oh, I can take a shot or two, and I know he'd already fired a shot, so I was like, oh, I can go in on this guy and it'll be fine. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and we finished with 7 kills as well. I say the Ace Tanker, Devastator, Top Gun, High Caliber. That's a 2.2k base XP. A really, really, really nice game for a tier 8 tank, and especially for the Panzerknacker. I say one that I discounted quite a long time ago. It's been recently buffed, and it's actually a pretty decent tank. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!